What's up, family? It's Dynasty Mirror Search for Who. Let's get some more people in the chat room. Today's topic, we're going to be discussing uh, a production company, a Nollywood production company called ROK. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that right. It's a studio um, in Nigeria. I don't know if you guys know. Nollywood, I believe, is number three on the planet when it comes to film production in regards to its gross and how much it earns per year. I want to say number one is Bollywood, actually. Then number two is Nollywood. I'm sorry. Then number two is Hollywood, and then either number three or number four. I don't know the name of the movies that are produced out of China, but I would think China would be up there too. So we'll go ahead and say Nollywood's number three or number four. But ROK, which is a pretty large outfit that studio that produces Nollywood films, was sold to French television company called Canal. Now I'm familiar with Canal. Let me say this about Canal though. Now I don't speak no parler français. I don't speak French, but Canal be having the most fire 1990s, 1980s action flicks. Like if you're into like 80s and 90s action flicks, they're always on Canal TV. So even though I don't understand what the hell they be saying, there's no subtitles. Whenever I'm in a French speaking African country, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, the movies are always coming on, because everyone has Canal TV, and I don't know, I just be watching the hell out the movies. But anyways, Canal just acquired Rogue Film Studio for an undisclosed uh, amount. Now, this is the thing. I understand people, might acquire a business or start a business. They want to sell it. They want to make money. Obviously, a lot of the purpose of people going into business a lot often is to make money. But when you're dealing with media, you're dealing with propaganda, right? And when you give up control or sell a platform like Rogue to a French television company who has never had the best interest of African people's, they've never had the best interest of African people. You're now allowing them, people who don't like you historically, to control your image. And that's a problem. And there are long-term consequences with that. Number one, again, you have people who historically have used mass media propaganda for the most part to make us African people look less than human, or made it seem as if we're less than human for the most part. And then number two is like we're setting this standard that if you're a black owned company and you start from the ground up, you haven't made it until you sell your company to a larger non-black entity. And that's the wrong standard to set, just me personally. Because again, a lot of times these entities that you sell to don't have our best interests at heart. And that's a problem. So I'm going to read this article. French television company, I'll post a link. This is from techcrunch.com. French television company Canal has acquired the ROK film studio from VOD company ROK TV for an undisclosed amount. Founded by Jason Njoku in 2010 and backed by $45 million of venture capital, ROK TV boasts the largest online catalog of Nollywood film content in the world. Nollywood is a movie genre popularized in Nigeria that has become Africa's de facto film industry and one of the largest globally by production volume. Yeah, like I said, they're either number three or number four in the world. Based in Lagos, ROK Film Studios was incubated to create original content for ROK TV, which can be accessed online anywhere in the world. Actress and producer Mary Njoku, Iroko TV CEOs Jason Njoku's wife, founded ROK Studios and will stay on as director general under Canal Plus acquisition. Owned by media conglomerate Vivendi, Canal looks to give Mary more production resources without disrupting ROK's creative chemistry. See, okay, so this is what we have to understand. I'm gonna stop there. These companies are these large non-African companies, Viacom, Vivendi, especially when you're dealing with the media. Number one, they have a 50-year to 100-year plan. All right, if you think for 1 second, 1 minute, that this media conglomerate is not going to call any shots and allow the former owners to continue to operate as they were operating before the acquisition, you are out of your mind. That has never happened in the history of acquisition, especially when we're dealing with non-Black conglomerates purchasing Black-owned conglomerates. That's never happened. There's always an agenda, a secret agenda, always. So for right now, maybe they might let you guys do your own thing for the next 3 or 4 years. But trust me, that's going to change. I was listening to an interview with Bob Johnson. It was the same thing when BT was acquired by Viacom. And pretty much, exactly, I'm getting to BT right now. That right there is a prime example. Because if you don't think Viacom and Canal TV or whatever the company is that owns Canal TV, if you don't think that they don't talk, if you don't think that Canal TV's, what was the name of the company? Started with a V. Sorry, let me go back up to it. Vivendi. If you don't think they aren't taking lessons and notes from how Viacom operates, because this seems like this is the European version of Viacom, you're out of your mind. And pretty much in the case of BT, when BT was acquired by Viacom, what's the name of the form? I think he got ousted. Was it Sumner Redstone? Viacom, was it Sumner Redstone, you guys? Viacom, Sumner, I think it's Redstone. Yeah, Sumner Redstone. So Sumner Redstone and Bob Johnson sat down. And basically, the agreement was, Viacom will acquire BET, but Bob Johnson was allowed, him and I believe his wife or somebody else, Bob Johnson's partner, was allowed to still, I guess, operate BET. And again, it was business as usual after Viacom acquired BET. And like I said, this went on for like maybe 3 or 4 years. Then once Bob Johnson left, you see what happened to BET. This is just trash. In fact, I don't know who watches BET still. Does anybody watch BET? So the same thing. Shout out to Mr. Pryor Brain. Shout out to that brother. So if you don't think the same thing is not going to happen to ROK, if you don't think that the higher ups in France or in Europe aren't going to tell the CEOs, current CEOs and whatnot, aren't going to call the shots, you're out of your mind. It never works that way. I'm telling you, I worked in corporate America. In fact, this is what they do. Stop the show. This is what they do. This is anybody who's worked in corporate America. They understand how acquisitions work out, or how they play out, or how they're done. Okay, if you have a company, they come in, they acquire you, they allow the staff to stay on. Okay, they allow the individuals in the C-suite to stay in for probably 6 months to a year, maybe 2 years, so they could figure out the system, the company that has acquired the company. So they could come in, they figure out this is how acquisitions play out. They'll allow you to stay in, they bring in their people, they shadow you for about a year, then they let you go, or they demote you, or they'll cash you out. This is how it plays out. So if you don't think for a second that Vivendi, Canal TV, they don't have an ulterior motive, you're out of your mind. So you look at BET. Once it was sold to Viacom, it's trash. BET is now trash. People know the potential and the future and the potential of Nigeria. So they want to get in now. And I guarantee you, Vivendi probably bought ROK pennies on a dollar compared to if ROK would have stuck it out for another 10, 20 years. Again, it's just we need to have a long-term strategy and plan. And part of that long-term strategy and plan is we have to hold, especially when it comes to the entertainment industry, when it comes to media, we have to hold. That's the long-term strategy. That's the long-term plan. Unless there was something going on behind the scenes where they were hurting for money. I mean, they were having issues. I mean, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. But for the most part, you have to hold. Exactly. Are you training your replacement? Let's see here. Hi, I live in France for 30 years. Canal TV is bad, very bad for Nigeria. France, more colonial control. That's what I'm saying. This is soft colonialism. That's what this is. Because if you think, they're going to buy you out and allow you to retain creative control, you are out of your mind. It never works that way. Period. I mean, what Nigerians need to do is study China and study black media in America. I'm going to get to that, Darius. They need to study China and they need to study black media in America. When Hollywood came to China and told them, hey, we want to invest, we want to buy this, Chinese said no and kicked them out. When Hollywood came to Bollywood, Bollywood kicked Hollywood out. I'm going to say no. Let's see here. But when Hollywood or white corporate-owned entertainment industry came to BET and all these other black-owned, I mean, look at the music industry. And we sold out. We see where that now leads us to, or what happened, the aftermath of that. Again, it's long-term. Bollywood owns some of Hollywood now. I believe it. Again, like I said, we think now. We think we have to eat right now. They think long-term. So again, they'll acquire you. They'll tell you could retain creative control. But trust me, come 3 to 5 years from now, you're gonna get a knock on the door. Hey, you know, man, you're no longer needed. You're gonna get your pink slip. You'll get a nice little buyout, and that's it. And again, what Nigerians need to do, Nollywood needs to do, is look at China, Bollywood, and look at so-called black media here in America, black media, which is not black owned, which either sold out, which sold out, which was acquired by larger non-black entities. And since we now don't have control of our image, look at the fuckery that gets put out. Look at the propaganda and the fuckery, the images that get put out on and about Black America. That's what happens. China and India are about to lead the world, and Nigeria is lagging behind. Afrobeats is next. I was in Lagos. I think Sony's in Lagos, either Sony or Universal. I saw one of them in Lagos. They're coming for Afrobeats too. And the thing is, there's no need to sell out. There's no need to. You know, people say, well, you know, in the case of ROK, it's in the case of ROK, it's well, you know, we need to tap into their infrastructure because we need more resources to grow our brand. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. You really don't. Because I mean, you have access to all the resources there. And if that's the case, you do what is called maybe a partnership. Now, if you want to partner, if it makes business sense with these other, if you need, hey, you know what, we need resources and we need to expand, we need to grow. If you want to partner with somebody, that's fine. But again, like King Carol said, you're in Nigeria, 200 million people. Nollywood movies are enjoyed by people all over the world. You already have a network you could tap into. The resources are right there. You know, the resources are right. Let me turn my phone off. Sorry. The resources are right there. Who's Lucas? Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, people are like, hey, you know, like, for example, was it Tiwa Savage? Tiwa Savage signed, I think, with Universal because she needed to tap into their distribution. There are Nigerians in every country on the face of this earth. You go anywhere on this planet, I don't care where you go. I don't care where you go. Anywhere on this planet, there's a Nigerian that you could put to work in helping you build some type of distribution. They're ready to hustle. So all I'm saying is this whole, we need to tap into non-African institutions to help us grow and distribute. No, you don't. You got to build it. And that's the issue. We don't want to build it. They don't want to build it. You know, guys, make sure you hit that like button. We have 197 people watching. Only 69 likes. Please hit that like button. We have 197 people watching, 71 likes. Yeah, but we don't understand the long-term value of our brands. We do not understand the long-term value of our brands. And I'm afraid that Nigeria is going to make the same mistakes in regards to controlling our brands like Black America did. And if you do that, it's over for you. It's over for you. Donis, this issue is deeper. When you don't see value, you cannot build. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean you don't see value, you can't build? I'm pretty sure so in corporate America, every Monday or every Sunday night, you get a weekly operating report. You look at the numbers. You know, the higher ups, the CEOs, the CFOs are nothing but bean counters. All they do is count the money, look at data, look at spreadsheets, look at the stock price. And you can determine, you can see the value right there. I'm pretty sure they knew how valuable ROK was. I know they know. ROK is very aware of the value they have. And that's a very valuable brand. In a very valuable market. Because what people have to understand, I don't care how poor you are. Everyone has a TV and everyone has a cell phone. So you have a market of 200 million people in your country. That's value right there. But you have to be patient. See, again, these companies, they think 100 years out. Meanwhile, we're thinking for the next meal the next day. So yeah. So what I'll do, I'll take a couple calls. If you guys want to hop on, let's get some new people in here. Who's Lucas? Somebody brought up Lucas. You got something to add to this, Lucas? I kind of want to get some new people on here. So if you want to come in, well, let me if you guys want to hop on, that's my email. Send me an email. Okay, Brandon Goba, send me an email. Okay, let me explain it. Send me an email and I will send you the link. So send me an email and I will send you the link. Okay, Kish B, send me an email and I will send you the link. All right, that's how it works. Let's see here. Let me finish reading this article while you guys send me emails. Here we go. All right. Let's see here. Through ROK, Njoku has expanded Nollywood's formula for producing films on low budgets, largely shot on location in Nigeria, that connect with African audiences wherever they are. One of ROK's more recent popular productions is Ojukwu, a period series set in 1800s Nigerian village in which Njoku directs and acts. Nollywood is Africa. We tell the African story. Not anymore. You can bring a Nigerian story, a Ghanaian story, a South African story. We talk the same drama. So Africans can connect that average Nollywood story anywhere in the world. Njoku told TechCrunch. With the ROK acquisition, Canal looks to bring Nollywood's production ethos to other countries and regions of Africa. But see, that's already being done. There's Nollywood films on Netflix. That's all I'm saying. It's already done. You're already doing it. What people have to, Nigerians, Africans have to understand. These non-African institutions and companies, when they move for war. And mass propaganda, mass media propaganda is a tool of war. So when it says up here in the article, Nollywood is Africa, we tell the African story. Not anymore. Who tells the African story now? Vivendi and Canal TV tells the African story now. Let's see. We want her to bring that to French-speaking Africa because we need more African content and we need the industry to develop in French-speaking Africa. Canal will also support ROK developing its animation division for Nollywood content. Fox will not divulge the acquisition price, but confirm. Thank you. You could do a partnership. I want to sold it. I mean, but confirm there's a cash component of the deal. This is key for Jason to developing the VOD aspects of ROK, he said. Under the deal, ROK will continue to create unique content for ROK TV. ROK's 4 existing channels, 3 on DSTV and ROK Sky in the UK, as well as Canal's Africa and global channels. The ability to reach a larger network of African consumers on the continent and internationally is another acquisition play for Canal TV. Nollywood online content has proven the ability to find demand anywhere Africans are, including diaspora populations abroad. And ROK TV's top 3 streaming countries are Nigeria, the US, and the UK, according to a company spokesperson. Yeah, so, Yeah, so let's see here. Let's see if we got any emails, people who want to call in. All right, let's see here. All right, David Okwoa. David, I'm sending you the link right now. David, the link is coming. All right, David, I just sent the link. We're waiting on you, David. Yeah, so, ain't no partnerships. There is no creative, creative control. It doesn't. It doesn't operate like. They don't operate like that. They do not operate like that. Yeah. So, David, I sent you the link. We're waiting on you. I'll give you a minute or so. All right, Brandon Goba. I just sent you the link. We're waiting on you two brothers. And guys, make sure you hit that like button, okay? Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share. If you guys are new, if you guys just came across the chat, make sure you subscribe as well and hit that notification bell. So yeah. Brandon Goba, you have the link. And David, you have the link as well. So yeah. I don't know how this is going to work in the future because YouTube is getting rid of Google Hangouts. So I'm going to have to figure out an alternative way. I'm going to play with that tonight. Figure out an alternative way to stream. Well, I know how to stream, but as far as where you could send links and people could come in and join. Go ahead, brother.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I see that you're talking about like the whole Roku selling to Canal. My opinion is like when it comes to Nigerian cinema, because I hate to use the term Nollywood because it's like trying to compare it to Hollywood in a sense. Because like they don't have a specific name for like Korean cinema or like Japanese cinema. But when it comes to Nigerian cinema, I feel like there's a high output of movies. Like every year, I think they produce about maybe 2,000 films, and they fail to create quality within those 2,000 movies. And I feel like there's a failure within themselves not to work with other African industries. Because like you have Kenya. Kenya has a huge industry. You have South Africa. South Africa has a huge industry. Or you can even put in Egypt in a sense. They have a huge industry. And if Africa as a whole, in inverted commas, as an industry, I think produces more than $2 to $3 billion in gross income. But I feel like certain people fail, or certain people in Nigeria fail to connect with creatives in these countries. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So, like, I think because if you look at maybe Egypt, Egypt does have a huge film industry, and we could say they mostly produce for Arab people. So you find out in the Arab world, Egypt has the biggest cinema, and Egypt produces some of the best movies in a sense. And that's why you find like a lot of Egyptian filmmakers making it in like in America and all these places when they produce like independent films for like $500,000 and all that. That's why in Nigeria, I think in Nigeria themselves, they have to now start to move on to investing in film where they put in $500,000 in the film and say, you know what, you're taking $500,000 investment and you're creating a film, and we're not going to just distribute it in Nigerian cinemas. You're going to distribute it in Ghana, distribute it in Kenya, distribute it in Congo, distribute it in Namibia, distribute it in Tanzania, distribute it in South Africa, distribute it in Swaziland, allowing them to recoup their money in a sense, but at the same time spread their influence, as you would say, because you can't just focus on Nigeria as your only market. Because if let's say we look at big companies that come out of South Africa like Shoprite, you find Shoprite everywhere in Africa. If Shoprite decided to stick in Africa,
You
then
know what? You know what I understand now. ShopRite in Nigeria, they actually are somewhat a franchise because they have to partner with a local Nigeria in order to build. That's from my understanding.
yes, yeah, even that's so. But at the end of the day, Shoprite does make money from these franchises. If you own a franchise, it's not like I'm owning a franchise, I'm not going to give them any money. They still get their cut at the end of the day.
Yeah, but I would rather see a franchise situation than you know.
Yeah, the franchise situation is much better because maybe Shoprite might not understand like the market in Nigeria. That's why they might franchise with a Nigerian. And that's why because like if you go to Shoprite maybe in Botswana, which is next to South Africa, it might be fully owned by Shoprite as a company because they know the environment, they know the market. So in Nigeria, if a filmmaker or a film studio invests in distributing it in their movies in other parts of Africa, and at the same time invest money in the so-called quality of that movie. Meaning, even if you have a Nigerian director, you might have a writer from Kenya who is involved in writing of the movie, and you might have like a cinematographer from Tanzania who might know their stuff. Therefore giving it a pan-African narrative within the film. That's how you could market the film, but at the same time bringing in people who might know how to write a proper film in a sense. Because you can even get like people from like America who might know how to write film, people from Brazil who might know how to write film, and all these things. Therefore, because when you watch Nollywood, for me, when I watch Nollywood, it's like I watch it and I'm still busy on my phone. I don't feel engaged as an audience member.
Where
Because
you, brother? Where you from?
I'm from South Africa,
From
but I
South
live
Africa.
in the UK right now. So
Okay.
you see, because like in my country, I can pick out a handful of films where I'm like, oh, I mess with that film or I mess with that film. Even though like you find like most of the films that are directed back home in South Africa, like out of maybe 100 that are produced that go to cinema, 40 to 50 of those will be directed by white directors and have some white
And,
writers
and,
and some black
and,
writers.
and you're talking South African films directed
South
by white.
African film in a sense, because
Are,
I'm
are,
more familiar with South African film,
right, right,
but
and they're directed by white directors. The South
like
African.
40 to 50% of the films are directed by white directors, and the rest are directed by black directors and
Yeah, well, that's the case.
Indian directors.
Well, we can't even put South Africans industry in the same category as Nollywood because Nollywood's pretty much 100% black.
In Nollywood, you it's easier to raise money and create a film. So you can raise $10,000 and start filming a film, or you can raise $20,000 and start filming. But then in South Africa, you can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to go raise $20,000 and
Why
film
not?
a film."
Why not?
Most people, because if I, as a director, let's say I'm the director of the film,
Okay.
and a person comes to me and tells me, "Yo, I have $20,000," which is equivalent to maybe like 200 and something or 300,000 rand,
All right. Yeah.
and I'm a director and I
Okay.
work in television and I'm getting paid on a regular basis. You can't now come tell me, "Yo, I'm gonna give you 10,000 rand or 20,000 rand for you to direct this film for me." The person you're like, "But I make more money directing commercials. I make more money directing music videos. I make more money directing
Okay. Okay. Okay.
soapies."
Okay. Let me ask you this. Here we go. I think I see where we're going with this. So basically, now as far as directing the music videos and directing the commercials, who controls that, or who's cutting the check for that? Is it a white South African or a black South African?
Well, when it comes to directing music videos, it's the artist that might cut the check, or the label that might
Okay.
cut the check.
Okay. Here we go with the label. Who owns the
So when
label?
it comes to when it comes to labels, South Africa, you could say it's just like America, where you have Universal Music Group, you have Warner
Okay.
Brothers, you have
Okay.
Sony,
Okay. So
and
what you're saying is it's just a lot of South Africans, instead of going out and raising money for a film, they might as well just go work for white owned corporations.
most of the time, but to raise that money to create a film is quite difficult because you can't go to a businessman, let's say a black businessman who owns like a mining company or whatever, and say, "Hi, I'm looking to direct a film. I need 1 million rand or $100,000 in order to start filming my film." And then that business owner will be like, "Okay, yes, you want $100,000, but how much am I going to make from that?" And you tell that person, you could make your money back or you could not make your money back.
Okay, brother, I'm lost. That's in any type of investment situation. I mean,
Yeah.
people. So I'm lost now. What does that have to do with Nollywood?
So when it comes to how do I put
So
this?
I'm
When it
pretty sure
like
I'm shooting a movie, and I go up to people and say, "Hey, I'm shooting a movie. I need you to invest." They're probably gonna ask, "Hey, Dinus, what can I expect my return to be?" That's just
Yeah, in Nollywood, the amount of money you invest is not as huge compared to, let's say, South Africa.
okay. So then my question is, why has Nollywood became so much more successful than South Africa's version of Hollywood with less resources then?
Because I think when it comes to Nigeria, more and more certain people, like certain rich people, are willing to invest in cinema. Because like if you look at India within itself, there are people in India willing to invest in film even if they lose money. But then if you look in Nigeria, there are people who are willing to invest in film who are willing to lose money, but they're not going to lose a lot of money, but they're willing to say, "Yo,
Yeah, but that's
here's
part.
10,000, here's
But
10,000."
I'm confused. That's part of investing. You got to be willing to lose money. I mean, that's just part.
Yeah, like in investment, I understand that you are going to lose money, but then the question lies, how much money am I going to lose?
Okay, so basically what you're saying is in South Africa, they feel more comfortable and protected by just going the traditional route of non-black owned labels and whatnot versus getting on a grind and producing and investing in their own industry.
Not
Like in
necessarily.
so basically the mindset of the black South African is the mindset of the black American when it comes to the entertainment industry. That's what I'm
And
getting.
yes, very much so, because as
Okay.
if I'm a white person and I go to someone and say, "Yo, I need money to create a film," I think white people are more willing to invest in their own people to say, yo, here's the money, go do your own thing. Or I might go and study film at school, and my mother or my dad might know like a millionaire who's willing to invest in my film dream, as you'd put it. Because most black parents or African parents don't necessarily see film or the arts as a viable source of or a place of a career for a person. You understand? Like even black directors from South Africa who try and create films, most of the time they're going to white corporations for them to get money for those
Right,
films.
right.
And that's why you end up finding commercials
So
and
this is
all these things happening.
okay. So this is the thing, brother. We can't even compare South Africans
No,
entertainment.
no, no, you can the thing is you can never compare Nollywood to the South African film industry. Because
So,
Nollywood is much bigger. People are willing to invest in Nollywood.
so do you have an issue with Nollywood then?
I I watch Nollywood, but I'm not engaged with Nollywood. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like I was like, how do I put this? I'm engaged with British film. I'm engaged with American film. I'm engaged with Korean films. I'm engaged with Japanese films, but I'm not engaged when it comes to Nigerian films. Even though I want to be engaged, like I'll go around, I search at Nigerian films, say, okay, now let me see if this is good, and I watch and I watch and I watch, and I'm like, yeah, this is not what I'm looking. This is not what I'm looking for in a film. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because most films around the world, if you're willing within the $10,000, you can create a good film. But
Well,
I feel like most of the people working,
it depends on who's watching the film. But I mean,
yeah,
I just I think we're comparing apples and oranges because Nollywood is an African, black owned for the most part, dominated industry versus South Africa. You might have a lot of black faces, but everything for the most part is white corporate owned. So we
yeah, that's
can't.
what I'm saying. Okay, what I'm saying is like within Nollywood, within Nigeria itself, there are great filmmakers who work outside of Nigeria, or great writers who work outside of Nigeria. But then when it comes to Nollywood, it seems like there's a sense of nepotism that exists in the industry where a few, not let me not say a few people, but a bunch of people have a way of producing films and they stick to that. This is the same thing with Bollywood. People know each other, so they stick to a way of producing films, and it doesn't create an a how to put a buzz, you would say, because when you produce, like if you look at Lionheart, the film that Netflix bought,
Yeah,
when you watch the film,
I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
yeah,
Lionheart.
I understand. Like when I watch the film, there are great elements in the film, and there are certain flaws that exist within the film, but it's a good film within itself. It's not a great film, it's a nice popcorn film that you can watch.
All right.
You know, with, it has great production. People took their time and say, yeah, if it takes
I
us
mean,
even a year to
I
create this
think
film.
I think all the top South African films were filmed by American outfits. I mean, Lethal Weapon took place in South Africa.
Little,
You had all the Mandela movies that was shot by American outfits.
yeah,
Yeah,
like I think when it comes to South Africa, people come to South Africa to do films, so they will hire like a camera guy and all these things, and then that's it. You have the skill sets that exist, but you don't have the investment that is necessary. In Nigeria, you have the investment that is somewhat necessary, but they don't seem to invest it in the right within the right people. Because even if you look at the music industry within itself, people have chosen to sign with American record labels because they feel that they need distribution in America.
yeah, but you can do that on the content. Distribution is there on the content. You don't need
Yeah, so what I'm saying is it's not necessary.
you'll spread
It's
that.
not necessary. I'm saying it's not necessary for them to sign to an American label, but they feel that they have to because there's this thing that as Africans, we look at America as this place of wonder.
Land and honey, land and
Yeah, like a place like
milk and honey.
even yeah, even when I was at home, people in South Africa be like, oh yeah, bro, like you're in the UK, it must be great. It's like, nah, bro, it's not that great, fam. Like, it's not the land of milk and honey, but there's this perception of,
Okay.
ah, you understand?
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to
So
Dave.
you don't necessarily need to, go to America, go to the UK and say, yo, I want you to help me distribute my music here. There are other people to help you distribute your music in America.
Right. All right, brother. We appreciate you coming on. We appreciate you coming on, brother.
Yeah, thank you very much for picking my call. I'm really excited to have this opportunity to hang out with you guys. It's
Uh,
a privilege. Thank you very much.
David, where you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from the country of Georgia in Europe, but I'm a Nigerian, Igbo to be
Okay.
precise.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm really sorry for taking you guys time. I had to download the app on my phone.
It's okay. It's okay. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. So first of all, I think let's look at the main cause of what Africa is passing through. Now, if you look at every sector of the society, you look at religion, you look at the banking sector, health, education, every aspect of our life makes it look like our God is the white man.
Mm-hmm.
So everything we do, everything that is being taught to us is it portrays the white man as the source of all knowledge. So if you look at apart from we that are in these group chats that are kind of like enlightened, if you look at an average African or an average black person, you see that an average black person sees the white man as the ultimate source of wealth, of wisdom. If you look at aspects where people say research says that this and this, like when you talk about research, what comes into your mind is that the white man made a research, and based on the research, once you hear the word that this is a fact, you assume that that is the truth. So now in Africa, if you look at an average person sees a white man as the source of wealth. I don't know how it works in America,
Oh,
but
same thing. Same thing. Same thing. Same thing. Same thing.
okay, I don't. Yeah. So, for example, if I were to have a white man as my boss, I would see it as like. In fact, I'll kind of like be bragging with my friends, saying that I have my boss is in Nigeria we call it Oga. My boss is a white man, and because of that, my friends will now start envying me. So that mentality, first of all, is already a problem to the progress of Africa. Now, another example, if I tell my friend that okay, I sold ROK platform, if let's say I'm the owner of ROK platform, and I tell my friends I sold it to a white man, a French man, instead of them to talk down on me, they would even be envying me. They would be like, "Yes, you've made it, you've made money." So at the end of the day, the the problem is the enslavement of our mind. That's just what I have to say. Because until we free ourselves from that mentality that the white man is our savior, that the white man is God sent, there is no way we are going to change. It's not possible. So the freedom starts from the mind. As I'm
Mhm.
talking to you, I feel like it's just few of us who really know what's going on in the world.
Right.
Even if not for YouTube, if not for YouTube and platforms like this, what we see on CNN, what we see on all these mainstream stream media is that America is this kind of perfect place. In fact, let me even give myself as an example. I have applied to study in Canada. Presently, I'm studying in Georgia, the country of Georgia in Europe. I
You know,
applied to.
we were just talking about this. Nigerians are in every country on the planet.
It's so true. I have so many friends, so many night. In fact, there's a place I work in. Where I work, we have like 15 Nigerians working together. I'm talking of the country of Georgia. I'm sure you don't even know where the country
I know
is.
it's a former Soviet Union country, I believe.
Okay, okay.
East
So
Europe.
there's so many but what I'm trying to say is that based on what the mainstream media portrays about the US, they make America look like like a paradise. And because of that, America, Canada, UK, they make those countries look like heaven. So because of that, so many of us apply to come and study there, to come and live there. I've applied twice to come to Canada, and I'm telling you, like, it's not up to a year since I started um, watching videos like you and some other people. You check for landscape, some other platforms where they enlighten you about the reality of America and
Mm-hmm.
the world.
Mm-hmm.
So the one of the things contributing to all these things where we as Africans don't value our own is because of the way the mainstream media portrays Africa. They portray Africa like nothing is working, and because of that, we in Africa, we as Africans, we now feel like we need to win their favor. We need to make them happy, make them accept us, and an example of what is playing out in the Nollywood industry. So until we start creating our own narrative, telling our own stories to the world, I believe this is going to continue for a very, very long time. And at the end of the day, it's not just us that is going to suffer it, but even our children, children's children, and beyond. So that's my own take on the story. Thank you.
No problem, no problem. Let's see. We got some other people in the chat. Yeah, who was who? Who was who? You with the black and white shirt on. I don't, what's your name, brother?
Yeah, yeah. Hello,
So,
Donna.
go
Yeah,
ahead, brother. You say you're in Lagos now?
yeah. I'm actually in Lagos right now.
I'll be I'll be in Lagos.
I'm I'm very close to.
I said I'll be landing in Lagos on Wednesday. I'll be there on Wednesday. But go ahead.
Okay, okay. I'm in Lekki. We can hook up if you want.
I'll be
But
in
like I
no, no,
use.
no, I'll be in Ikeja, but I'll make sure I'll pass through Lekki too. I'll be in Ikeja.
All right, all right, all right. All right. I used to live around Alaba International Market, and it's one of the major markets um that they sell Nollywood movies in Nigeria. Anybody that is in Nigeria knows about Alaba International Market, right? And there, what most of the guys do there, the marketers buy Nollywood movies, then mass produce it, sell it to other people that buy from local retailers. So what they actually do is they buy from the producers or from the directors, then they mass produce it and sell it to other retailers. French people from Togo, from Benin Republic, from different West African countries come there to buy different content, even French content as well. Okay, so what happened is we have an organic market already. It wasn't like a competition where Nigerians came and say, okay, yeah, we are taking over, we want to take over Africa. We had an organic market. Now that market made other Nigerians in diaspora consume African content because we had the organic market already. There's no competition there. The market is still young. We can still work with other African industries like South African, the Kenyan, and Egypt, but we are still very young. It's not the competition now. What we have to do is, what do you guys have? What can you bring to the table? We have this. We have the market already, and that's the fact. Iroko TV is just one of them. We have African Magic. African Magic is a content, like African Magic is the network on its own. We have African Magic for every indigenous language in Nigeria. We have African Magic Igbo. We have African Magic Yoruba. We have African Magic Hausa. We have African Magic Epic. We have different African Magic. That is just for African Magic. So let's say this Iroko TV will be an experiment to just test the waters and see how it goes with these international companies. I will say that to me. Then we have African Magic, and to me, I think African Magic is the major network there. But Iroko TV, I don't think they sold out completely. I think they are trying to tap in that French market that we need, because a lot of Nigerian content aren't consumed by our French neighbors. I used to live in Benin. I lived in Benin for like 1 year, and they love our stuff, but they even try to connect with us, even though they don't understand English that like so well. In fact, I noticed some people in Benin, they understand English a bit because they consume more of English, more of our stuff, so they could understand. Like what I'm trying to say is a Beninois, a Benin Republic guy can understand English more than a Nigerian can understand French because they actually consume our stuff more. So I think what Canal did is good to me, and what Iroko TV did is not so good, but it will help to bridge that language barrier. I think this with translation, even our own movies too that we have already to help translate our movies, and I think it will help bridge um the whole language barrier between us. Yeah, that's my take for now. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Cool. All right. The other brother that just came in. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, how's it going, Dinus?
Good.
So how's it? My name is Alex. I grew up in Cameroon.
Okay.
The way I grew up is I grew up in the French area, which is like the main capital in Cameroon. I was born in Yaoundé actually, but my mother was born in Nigeria, and her tribal people are in the southwestern area of Cameroon, which is right next to the Nigeria border. So, there were times where I would go uh to the um to the village, which is in the southwestern part of Cameroon, and then there are times where I would live in the French capital. Well, not the French capital, but the Cameroonian capital, which is in the French area of Cameroon. So I would consume Canal Plus uh, TV shows a lot of times, and I would also consume a lot of Nollywood movies whenever I went to the village. So I have kind of like an experience from viewing um, both of the productions from Nollywood and as well as Canal Plus.
Okay.
And
Okay.
my 2 cents in this conversation is that the acquisition of the Nigerian studio is a really bad thing for Nigeria, because if you grew up in a lot of French countries, not French countries, but French speaking countries in Africa, you would know that a lot of the media is controlled by France or companies that are in France currently. And these TV shows and these programs that are made by these companies are majority white shows. So you have white actors who are being consumed by Africans in these French speaking countries. Because if you watch the programming that they make, a lot of the shows are just white people,
Hmm.
just white shows all the time, and it's being consumed by Africans. So Nollywood, in a sense, was kind of like a big relief for African people, especially African people that were close to Nigeria or in Nigeria, because we got to consume TV shows and programming that was made by African people who understood African traditions and how African people think, and so it resonated with a lot of us. The only problem is that current infrastructure in Africa relating to telecommunications is not controlled by Africans themselves. So, in order to get these TV shows into houses, you need to control your own telecommunication
True.
infrastructure, instead of giving your telecommunication infrastructure to French companies or whatever other countries that try to invest into your country. Um, a lot of the infrastructure for telecommunications right now was the infrastructure that was developed during colonialism, which is a big reason why a lot of the countries don't own it, because they were acquired straight after the French people left by French companies. Um, and not only that, but a lot of the telecommunication infrastructures are really in bad conditions. They're in bad shape because they haven't been They haven't been worked on and maintained well,
Hmm.
and so they had the African countries have they don't have a wide range of people that they can connect to, and in regards to TV shows and even internet, because even in a lot of African countries right now, that you won't be able to you won't be able to get internet if you stray far away from the main capitals. You know what I mean? If you go to the village or something like that, you won't be able to get internet at all.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, so the infrastructure right now for telecommunication is pretty bad. And as far as going into the future, I would I would honestly recommend that African countries focus less on um, television infrastructure and focus more on internet infrastructure.
No,
Um,
that'd be make more sense because everything can be streamed now.
yeah, everything is on the internet right now as far as TV shows and whatnot. I don't really watch too many movies honestly because I've gotten tired of movies. But when I used to live in Cameroon, I would watch a lot of Nollywood movies. And my opinion of Nollywood is that honestly, back in the day, they used to make a lot of good movies. But I think currently the market has been flooded so much that there's so many bad movies, and it's hard to find the one good movie in a stack of like bad movies. But I feel like over time the quality is going to get a lot better, and which is the reason why Canal Plus is investing right now to acquire studios in Nollywood. And the only bad thing is like this might not be the only time somebody acquires a studio in Hollywood, because right now it's only like I heard it's only like one sector of a studio, so it's not that mm, it's not that big in the grand scheme of things because there's other studios in Nigeria that can compete. Um, so this is just a start in what I feel like could be a trend in Nigeria if people
Okay.
keep selling their studios.
Okay. So do you see it as a plus for them selling the studio or no?
Definitely not
Uh
in
huh.
any way or shape. Even
Okay.
if
Cool.
you don't have the money right now, it takes a lot of time to actually get the money that these big studios have, because these big studios have had sort of like a control on their markets in their own countries
Okay. Cool.
for
Yes,
for
sir.
generations, and they've made money while African people haven't really had that much of a control um in our own TV shows or just studios in general.
All right. Cool. Let's see here what we got in the chat room. Everyone, again, thank you for joining. Make sure you hit that like button as you come into into the chat room. My brother in Georgia, anything you want to add in the country of Georgia, not the state, the country.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. So I don't know if it would permit me to be very real or realistic.
Go ahead.
Okay. So now we don't have to blame just the white man or just the French people for all that is happening in Africa. But I feel like what is also contributing to all this selling of things, products to the white man is because of the lack of infrastructure in Africa. Look at um, how the governments use the people to make money and then send the money back to all these Western countries.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, if we want to be real, they are kind of like investing in all these economies. So I feel like if African governments or the presidents of African countries invest in what we have, invest in black products, black resources, I feel like all these things would not even have started in the first place. If you look at other countries, you look at China, you look at India, you look at the Arab countries, you see that their governments, their people invest they invest in themselves before investing in other nations. But the reason why we don't do that is because, first of all, that culture of greed as a people, not just the governments, but we, the average people, the culture of greed, the culture of trying to cheat our neighbors has made us to be in the kind of hell we are presently. And I feel like, first of all, if you look at African culture, we are not naturally we tend to share within ourselves, but all this stinginess, all this greed, we got them from our oppressors, our colonizers, and we getting all these things from them is now destroying us as a nation. And at the end of the day, if you look at it, the end product of all this is our Nollywood industry, where we tend to sell our own to white people and we feel proud of it. We don't even feel guilty. We feel proud of it, and we even boast about it. If you look at the music industry, look at what the kind of message that is being portrayed in the music industry, talking about white man's drink, white man's liquor, talking about they look at women as this kind of what's that word? They look at them as objects. They look at them as like sex dolls and all that. It's talking about money. Money, first of all, is a white man's resource. If you look at Africa back then, we were not even dealing with money. We were exchanging
Calorie
things.
sales. Go ahead. Go ahead. You there? Hello? Hold on. Oh, the brother froze up. Yeah, the brother froze up. We lost him. The brother froze up. Guys, make sure you hit that like button again. Hit that like button as you come to the chat room. But yeah, the brother froze up. Uh, let's see here. Let's see. We have 253 people watching, only 182 likes. Let's see what's going on in the chat room. Yeah, I'm waiting for the brother to come back on. Damien A, please support Black Media, blackmotion.com. We are looking to launch a motion picture production company. Okay. Shout out to brother Damien. Let's see here. What we'll do, we'll wait a couple more minutes for the brother to come back on, and then what we'll do, we'll go ahead and we'll close out. But in fact, let me do this. Police brutality. I'm about to send you the link. Everybody else, yeah, police brutality. I'm about to send you the link. Let's go. Police brutality. I'm sending the link right now. All right, police brutality. I just sent the link. And then after you come on, brother, we'll go ahead and close out. Anything else any of your brothers want to add?
As far as Nollywood goes,
Mm-hmm.
I just have to say that they actually have a lot of white worshiping propaganda and like shows.
Yeah, that too.
Nollywood.
Yeah.
So I can't really praise Nollywood too much because growing up, like they would demonize like traditional religions and traditional myths and beliefs, and then they would praise Christianity and European religions in their TV shows and movies. So I would have to say that Nollywood itself has been doing like a good amount of like negative propaganda in the African continent, specifically in Nigeria.
Okay, cool. All right, police brutality. Go ahead, brother. Take
Yeah.
it away.
Yeah, hello, Dinus. Thank you for bringing me in because, I was wondering where the South African brother was going to. He was just, I don't know, he was just talking. I don't know what the guy was trying to aim at, because I do that most South African movies are controlled by cracker anyway, so I don't get it.
Here we go.
Nollywood is 100% controlled by the people. Okay, I've been watching Nollywood since I was since in the 90s, and this was an industry that started from nothing. People made shit about like, oh, our graphics are horrible, our movies are trap. But look at it now. Look at Lionheart, the movie that came out. Very nice movie.
Yeah, it was good. I
And
like it.
yeah, our people should know that some you have to start from somewhere.
Genevieve is my future ex-wife. Genevieve is my future ex-wife.
Future ex-wife. But you see, that's the thing. Genevieve started from nowhere. She started with Nollywood movies back in the 90s and see where she is now.
Right.
So I don't understand when the brother was saying that he doesn't connect. Okay, give me a second. Sorry, give me a second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he didn't connect with Nollywood, but he
Um,
connected with Korean movies.
yeah, hello, Dinah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to add that I agree with the fact that movies, there's a lot of propaganda,
Right.
and we need to work on it. In terms of sometimes they try to praise the white Jesus, trying to come and trying to save them from their god or their local deity or stuff like that. So I agree they need to work on that. We need to educate our directors, and as much as they are investing into the industry, we need to educate our directors on a Pan African mindset. And secondly, if any one of you out there maybe are interested in music or movies in terms of maybe marketing, promotion, or even any link at all in Lagos or Nigeria, anybody who can connect and work, minor investment, anyhow. So yeah, that's just it. Man,
Yeah,
thanks. I enjoy your show so much. Like you're a real dude. You be confirm guy, and you're doing good, man. Thanks, man.
All right, cool.
yeah,
All
Dana, sorry,
right,
I was cut
go
short.
ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was cut short. Someone came to my office. So I'm just saying that, look, our people should understand one thing. People, the South African bro saying he doesn't connect. Like, yo, do you like? I know of Ghana. I know back in the day we didn't start with. We were just coming up back in the 90s, but in the early 2000s, we started connecting with other West African nations like Senegal, Gambia, Ghana, in collaborating with movies and also in in the other parts of Africa like Kenya and the rest. But you see, back then the South Africans, the movie industry was not connecting with us because they feel that they have cracker to help them out. So and even till today, it boils down to the xenophobic attitude they show to us Nigerians and also to the people from in the board like Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and those from Namibia that comes to South Africa and the way they treat them. So, for the South African brother that was here, like, yo, you know, crackers don't like you, man. Cracker doesn't like you. Like, you guys need to stop. If you can't connect, if you're in the continent, so I don't understand why you can't connect to the movies. Like, if you enjoy watching cracker movies, fine. Like, I enjoy watching Nollywood. I was watching one on the ROK TV on my YouTube channel.
There was a good Nollywood movie. I keep seeing it every time I'm in Nigeria. It's always on. It's with oh man, it's they're getting married. It's an Igbo and a Igbo man and a Yoruba woman. That's the wedding. And
Okay.
and the guy Banky, I think his name is Banky.
Yeah, Banky W, yeah.
Yeah, he was in a movie. He was playing the groom. And it's a decent, it's a good movie. I liked it.
Yeah, I watched it.
can't think. I'm trying to think of the name of it. But they're getting married.
Yeah. How many black South African movies are in Netflix? But you have a lot of Nigerian movies there. I don't get it.
It's called Wedding Party. Is that the name of it, Lumani?
Yeah, Wedding Party. Yeah, I've watched it. It's
That
like
was a good movie. I like
very
that.
good movie. Very
Yeah,
good. Very good movie.
I enjoyed that. Like I don't know. Every time I'm in Nigeria, it comes on, so I end up watching it.
Yeah, because it's a good movie. It's a good one. I watched it on Netflix. It's good. Like I don't see any South African movies on Netflix. I don't know that I know of. Jeez, it's mostly Nigerian movies I see, like the African, Akebula movies, like Nigeria. And the Ghanaians saw it and they tapped into it, and and some other West African nations saw it and they tapped into it too. So just the South Africans didn't want to collaborate with us. They feel that we Nigerians were this and that, always dissing us. Whereas we as a even in the country, we helped them out during apartheid. But nobody wants to say anything. Anyway, shout out to my South African brother. I don't hate you, but come on, man. Free yourself from that cracker mental slavery, for Christ's sake. Jeez. I just knew the guy was South African from the accent. I just knew it. I wasn't surprised. I wasn't.
Hell yeah. Well, guys, what we'll do, we'll go ahead and close out.
Did you?
Go ahead.
Did you see the tweet from these two South African rappers that one was wishing he was Nigerian and the other was scolding him and was like, "Dude, don't say that anymore." Did you see the tweet? Like, I'm thinking of controversy online or something like that. Did you?
Well, guys, what we'll do, we'll go ahead and
one was actually was wishing he was Nigerian, that the way Nigerians support their stuff, that is like 90% local content on Nigerian TVs, and that he wished he was Nigerian. And Casper is a very big South African artist. Like, we even love him here in Nigeria, and for him to tweet that kind of stuff, and AKA is another South African rapper that is a very big guy too, and he was like, he came online and was on public on Twitter and was like, "Dude, don't say that. You can't say you want to be a Nigerian. Don't." So it caused controversy. Like, so we have that pressure between us South Africans and Nigerians. We don't like losing to us, but it's not the competition. I think even though there's going to be a competition, it has to be a constructive one, not a destructive one. Like, we have to compete in a constructive way. Like, I don't want to be tribal now, but if you notice what is happening in like Nigeria, Igbo and Yoruba, we're always competing, but ours in terms of it's constructive. When the Yoruba man does something, and the Igbo man wants to do it better, or the other way around. So it has to be constructive too. When it comes to even Ghana, South Africa, Kenya, it has to be constructive competition. We have to just do that, because you can't stop us. If you're stopping us, you're stopping yourself. So we have to compete constructively and fast. So even everybody in the diaspora, we have to compete, because if we compete among one another constructively, then I think we can take over. Yeah, that's mine. Please.
All right, go ahead, police brutality. Tell everybody, police brutality.
Yeah, my name is I have a channel called Police Brutality Worldwide. Or you can call it PVWW channel, where I talk about police issues and also talk about other issues too. I have a lot of videos on how to get passports, and also videos about the Ghanaian Right of Abode program. I have a lot of educational videos there too, and more videos will be popping up. And for those that I know the Hangout Air is going out, so there's a website called StreamYard where you can, it's just like Hangout. You can stream with it. I've tried it once and it worked fine.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah, it's nice. StreamYard.
Okay. Can you like bring other people on the chat and send them links and stuff, or?
Sure. You can.
Okay.
I was checking it out yesterday. Yeah, it's good.
Okay, cool, perfect. All right, guys. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you go to search for Huru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, Dynasty Mirror, search for Huru. Peace.
Peace.